Oops, not yet. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Come on in. Come on in. Say hi. Say hello. Let me know you're here. Got one person I think in here right now. Sweet. Hey, me and you, whoever you are. Let's go. Come on in. Last show of 2023. A little time for people to trickle in before we begin. Groucho over here. Hello from France. Hello. Howdy. Nice to see you. Mark. Howdy. Nice to see you. Come on in. Come on in. Yeah, right now it says 2 people watching. But that can't be right. I see 3 people commenting. I don't know. These numbers on here, you never can trust them. I never know how many people are actually watching. I just do it. Have fun doing it. So why not? Daniel, great to see you. Good afternoon. Absolutely. It's going good. Glad to be here. Last week, kind of coming off, we're going into Christmas holiday, so skip the show. Almost did today too, but then I was like, you know what? Nah, I'll do a show. Let's do a solid hour. We'll chat. We'll talk about some stuff. We'll go over Decision Games, the Deluxe survey. We'll talk about kind of the year a little bit of a recap of the year. And why not, right? Spend an hour hanging out together. So no harm in that. But other than that, great Christmas. Wife made a bunch of food, ate too much of it, but had a good time. Got some gifts. I usually don't get like war games for Christmas or my birthday, right, or anything as gifts. For the most part, I just kind of get what I want myself, right? Because I don't want her, my wife, or anyone else to try to buy me something, and maybe it's something that I already have, or I'm getting, or I have no interest in, or whatever, right? Usually, because then at that point, they're not really sure exactly what to buy me when it comes to this hobby. So basically, I'm like, in the past, I've given like a list of like, okay, pick from these 3 or something. Well, which then, I mean, basically, I'm just telling them what to buy me. And, if sometimes I give them a list of a couple things, and then I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, man, wait, I wanted to pick up one of those sooner rather than later. So it's like, I wonder which one they got. And I can't, right? Because then I got to wait to see what I got. So anyway, I got, and getting you war games at all. But for Christmas, I did get, and I play other games. You guys know that. Mainly like either, I don't know, strategy games or like kind of fantasy or science fiction style games. So wife got me Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion. Fully cooperative fantasy campaign adventure. I know is solitaire. So I had the original Gloomhaven. I never played it. But it's a big box. So don't worry, I won't be covering it on the channel. I like to stick the channel in war games. It's just what I like to do with the channel. So, and then besides that, this is what I'm super excited for. I'm excited for the game, of course, but Masters of the Air. So Masters of the Air, obviously this covers the 100th, right, bombardment group, 8th Air Force, and does this focus on Masters of the Air, America's bomber boys who fought the air war against Nazi Germany. I just started it, barely though. I mean, I'm on page 8 out of like 500, 600, something like that. So, but Masters of the Air, super excited to read this one. I am super excited about the TV show coming in January, at the end of January. I think it's January 26th to be the first 2 episodes. Masters of the Air, covering the strategic, right, daylight strategic bombing campaign over Germany. And the show is by, right, like Tom Hanks. I don't know if Steven Spielberg's involved, but like Tom Hanks, basically guys who did Band of Brothers. So I'm looking forward to that and how epic and how great Band of Brothers was. This one looks like it's going to be hopefully just as good. It seemed to be pretty true. Band of Brothers, pretty true, right, to what happened. Obviously, it's Hollywood. There's some things are going to have to change just for storytelling purposes. But overall, I think Tom Hanks has a lot of passion for it. So I think you saw that come through with, obviously his movies like Saving Private Ryan, but the show Band of Brothers. So Masters of the Air, definitely looking forward to that one. And I'll have a special kind of coverage on my channel. Not special, but I have Target for Today up there. You can just see it. I can figure out how to point when the camera's reversed. Target for Today there. I picked that up just for this. I've already filmed a little bit, filmed a bunch more videos that I plan to cover while the show airs, kind of. So just kind of have fun with it, right? As like the show's on, I'm gonna have some videos pop up as the show is going. I don't know how many or how far, but we'll just have fun with it. And there's lots of other games that I was trying to look at to see if I should cover for kind of the show and like the spirit of the show, right? But I think I'm gonna go with Target for today. I looked at B17 later from DVG, but I think that's probably not exactly what I'm looking for. And then something like B17 Queen of Skies is just it's an older game, older components. Like I like to do it, like look at something new and get it something you can also go purchase too, right? Like, I mean, you can buy B17 from people, but Target for today you can go purchase from Legion War Games. So Mark says, yeah, I have 2 copies of Pacific Combat Commander. I assume gift, right? Got one of them. So hey, now you got trade bait or sell it and put the money right back into your hobby. So great book. I read it. Awesome. Good to know, Mark. Yeah. I mean, I can't wait to dive into it for sure. Well, like I said, I already read, like, I started 8 pages in and I was like, what? Literally, I got it on Christmas. I basically, within like a couple minutes, right? Like we finished up a couple things, cleaned up a little bit. And I was just like, grabbed out the book, started, looking through, like, suddenly I'm reading. I'm like page 8 right away. And I was like, wait, I gotta stop. I gotta pause. I'll start it probably in January. It's a lot of pages. It's gonna take me a little while, but pretty fast reader. Says, nice book. Maybe it could be a good idea if you add bibliography films recommended when you review a game. Yeah, so I've done that. I say that I wanted to start doing that, and I did with maybe a couple videos. I remember I had showed like, hey, this is a book that either maybe it was a book that kind of led me to find the game, which is kind of what happened here. I mean, I knew of Target for Today. I just never, I don't think I've ever played it. In fact, I feel like I even owned it before, but I think I got rid of it. I think at one point I was like, okay, I got enough of these like heavier, medium, heavy narrative driven games. I don't need another one. So I think I maybe got rid of it. But I've had a couple videos where I showed off like a book, right? So it was either a book led me to a game, or start playing a game where I know a game's coming. I order it, I'm getting it, and I'm excited, but I don't know enough about the topic, so I start reading something about it, right? I did a little bit of reading. For instance, I think the most recent would be Cruel Necessity, right? Covering the English Civil Wars. I knew nothing about the English Civil Wars, like nothing. And what did I read? Shoot, I don't have it here with me, so I can't show it off. But I read something, kind of a short synopsis style, but just something good to really get my feet wet with it, right? Get a little bit of knowledge, so that way when I go to play the game, and the game itself has a lot of good text in it, a lot of good like flavor text, information. Obviously, you're just the act of playing. You're seeing things. You're learning about the factions involved, the people involved, personalities, troop styles, etc. Was really nice. So definitely, I do like that. It's a good idea, Daniel. It does add another layer to when I make my videos and I make my so like, and I'm not complaining. It wouldn't be that hard, right? But it does add that extra layer of like, hey, remember to bust this out or bust that out, or I'm trying to. I love making the videos, and I feel really good about where I'm at with like the post production and stuff like that. And I know it wouldn't take that much post production. Either have the book with me or have it pop up on the screen. So it wouldn't take too much, but just a little extra step as I'm writing kind of my. Because I do almost like a script or like an overview of when I do my videos, right? Just a kind of an outline, and then I go from there. But yeah, it'd be cool. It's a good idea anyway. It's a good idea. I just don't know if I'll be able to do it for most of my videos, unfortunately, but maybe. You never know. Ugh. I've never jumped into ASL. I think because over the years now, as I've gotten into wargaming, I've owned many games that I never played, right? Like I bought them because at some point I saw some, especially when you first start a hobby or you start getting interested in something, or you get a passion, you get like passion becomes inflamed again, right? Because like, I mean, obviously I played war games for a while. I kind of not petered out, but I really didn't play them too much. And then I really got back into it. That's when I started the channel. But I bought ASL starter kit, and I looked at it and said, yeah, no thanks. And had to go. So, yeah, if that's what ASL full-blooded ASL is like, then I'll stick to reading. Chris, good morning. Nice to see you. Or good afternoon here. Mark says, afraid to go down that rabbit hole. Yeah, I'm I'm not saying I'll never, I'm not, nothing that it's pretty much no game, right? That I'm gonna say like, I'll never look at that or I'll never play that. But I'm definitely gonna take my time and make sure that it's the right time to dive into it. Because something like that, right? You want to make sure you're doing it right. And I know you start off as just you do right starter kits and ease you into it, but I'm sure there's still a level of complexity to it. When I think of my, I love Great Battles of History. You guys know that, and I'm sitting in front of all of them. But like, I got right, I'm over my right shoulder. You can see right, Orgali, Trades Fire, Alexander, Hoplite, Caesar, Conquest of Gaul, Caesar and Alexandria, Caesar, blah blah blah, SPQR, love them all, right? And some of them I played more or less than others, but I still have never played the full rules of Great Battles of History. I play simple Great Battles of History. Simple Great Battles of History. By the way, there's a reprint of the second edition, the simple Great Battles of History over on GMT P500. So go ahead and check that out. Let's get that printed fast because I'd like an updated copy because my old copy, first off, I think there may be a couple typos and stuff. I don't know if there's any rule changes in the second printing. Probably not. I think maybe some typos and then just get new charts and stuff because mine are kind of worn because I played it a lot. But Great Battles History has, each game has like its own full rule set and, they're tied together from game to game, but it's just a lot. And I know it's a lot and I've never done it. Now you'll find some people talking about Great Battles History that say, oh, well, that's the only way to play. Otherwise simple, distills it down too much and makes the games kind of samey. Well, yeah, I mean, the games are samey. I mean, we are simulating also Ancients warfare. Now, a lot of different types, different nations, different peoples. So it makes sense there's going to be differences. But, for me, going that full step of full Great Battles History, it's not worth it for me to learn, play, the complexity of learning, then playing. I think the game would be bogged down. I mean, I haven't done it yet, so this is just my kind of impression, my idea of it. It'd be bogged down, it'd be a lot slower, more fiddly. I think there's more markers involved. I know there's more markers involved than in simple Great Battles History. So for me, just not for me. Simple GBOH, give me that. Let me play that. I love it. I can still have Caesar's legions out there fighting some barbarians. I can help Alexander. I can do different things, right? That really hoplites and yet not have to spend all day learning the rules or playing. So, because simple is like 16 pages of rules, and it's not. I wouldn't say it's simple even. Honestly, it's really more like medium complexity, light medium. It's like maybe only be 16, 19 pages of rules, but it's kind of a little bit of a complex 16, 19 pages of rules. But overall, definitely way easier and less complex than full Great Battles History. So. This point in my wargaming hobby, I'm actually more of a collector. Yeah, so moving for me was a huge like wake up call on what to do with my games, and I was collecting, and I was getting rid of some. So I guess maybe I only collected to the point where I had all my shelves full, and it's in my old house, right? So not this house. I had another one or two shelves, like the cubes here, the 3x3, in addition to several boxes and piles. I was getting piles of games in my gaming room, and I was definitely collecting. I started slowly getting rid of some and kind of trying to make sure like replacement level, right? So like one would come in, try to get rid of one at least, and it was actually doing okay at that. But then when we moved, I got rid of a bunch before we moved, and then after moving and I'm unpacking and I'm putting games out, I'm like, I don't need all these. I don't want them. I don't need them. So I've been offloading them on Board Game Geek Marketplace. Chris in there in the chat here, he got a couple games off me. So, but I think I'm not saying I never will want to kind of collect, but as of right now, definitely just sort of my living situation when we have our house, but it's a smaller house than we had before. My room here is maybe same size, maybe a little smaller than my old room. It's probably the same size, honestly, but I just don't feel like I have enough room. I don't want the room. My last room was really getting really crowded. I come in and it was all, it was all clean, right? Clean stuff, but it was clutter of games and then gaming related crap everywhere. Here, it's relatively organized. Still want to get some stuff on the walls, but I can see a couple of piles of stuff here, but that have built up, including the Alamo Final Assault on my channel right now. Review goes up tomorrow. But my books, and I just want things to look nice. I want things to be organized. And I don't want piles of games. So I'm getting to the point here where it's like anything that doesn't fit on these shelves, I'm getting rid of, selling, trading. I don't do a lot of trading because I like to get new games, but I'll do an occasional trade. So, but I get it. I mean, absolutely, I understand wanting to have them, and it's fun too to collect stuff, right? I mean, I collect stuff I've collected over the years. Stuff I'll collect in the future. Like I said, I may start collecting war games again. I don't know, but we'll see. Then the last, best and worst war games rulebook you ever read. It sells okay, but for my taste, too many specific rules. I reckon it's a good game. Best and worst war games rulebook you ever read. So, good question. Great question. Fodder for a future video, maybe. I think some poor rulebooks. I know a recent sort of bigger game, um, Plains Indian Wars, covered on my channel, GMT, John Paniski. Talked about it quite a bit. It has a solitaire rulebook. I think you can just use a solo rulebook to play, which, by the way, love that, and that's I'm big proponent of that. If we're gonna include like kind of full rulebook solitaire, and then you have don't have a solitaire rulebook separate. Don't commit to that idea unless that solo rulebook can teach you the game and you can play the game from it 100%. You shouldn't have to refer back to the multiplayer rulebook. So I think it was all that, but I'll never forget, and I mentioned this in my review and stuff, and I was one of the few that I think kind of pointed that out. And like, I know another wargaming channel. Well, he does more than just war games, I'll tell you that. But he's a lot of prolific reviews. I don't know how, and I don't know how critical he is. I think he's a little bit of a, yeah, that was a good game. That was a good game. Yeah, that was a good game. It's like, well, not all good games. And they're not, or maybe they're a good game, but they still have faults, right? Anyway, he had said this was one of his games of the year. And I'm like, you can't even play the solitaire game from the rule book, not because you have to refer to the multiplayer book, but because there was actually steps from the sequence of play missing in the book. They had to provide those later. And yet I saw people online saying, oh my God, it's so good. Solitaire, the rule book's great, this and that. It's like, are you guys reading the same book as I am? And though I wasn't the only one, there were a couple people that pointed out and also noticed it and said, yeah, this rule book isn't great. But in my opinion, as much as the rulebook looked nice, it's GMT. It looked like it was well edited, and most of the rulebook was. Most of the rulebook was laid out well, clear, all those things. But when you literally have a rule or a part of the sequence of play, a step you're supposed to take, right? Like imagine a whole phase that's not listed, it's not printed in the rulebook. You just have to figure it out yourself magically, or you have to go online and find it. And that's what you had to do. You had to go online and you could find it posted. There's a whole bunch of corrections, a whole bunch of updates, like a ton of errata on the game. So that to me was a really poor rulebook. Not the worst, though, I would say, but definitely a poor one. As for best, maybe it's hard to say. I mean, I've had some games that I had some really good rule books. Put me on the spot, Daniel. Maybe some of actually. So I will say I've had some good luck with some Arben Madison's rule books. Now they're long, they're involved, right? His games are very procedural. His solitaire war games are very procedural. So I know sometimes people get a little bit. It can throw some people off where they're used to kind of, hey, a short thing that kind of explains maybe the sequence of play, how to play, and then it dives into each subject. Versus his rule books are like you follow through in order, page after page, and that's kind of how you play, page after page. And then you get to the end of the 15, 16 pages or whatever it is. And then it's like, okay, now it's the end of a turn, flip back to the beginning of the book. Kind of like that, right? Some people don't like that. I don't have a problem with it at all. In fact, and sometimes I've had some good luck with those. Think of a best. I'll have to keep thinking about that if I think of a best or if I see it in the chat here. Mark says best maybe Skies Above Britain. That's one I haven't played. That's one I would love to play. Just haven't gotten to the table. Haven't gotten it. Is that I'm not even sure. Is that I think it's out of print, right? Or is it potentially going up reprint soon? I'll have to look into that. Because I spent the last week and a half playing Carabao Philippine Sea. Absolutely consumed by it. Yeah. Mike says, agree on the rulebook. He also did a partial solo mode for Hearts and Minds, which is totally underdeveloped. Also, Land Chase, the best rulebook toys I've experienced. Yeah. So, and again, it's not even, and I talked about this with the game Planes Indian Wars, and that's why it's hard. Sometimes it's hard with these reviews because I'll say, like, what, when I do my reviews, I try to cover. I mean, I always cover. I don't try to. I always do because no game's perfect, right? That's not doesn't mean to like identify the flaws, right? It's just the things that hey, I didn't like. Now some of them are going to be literally like it bugs me, and I've had this. I've done a review and I said something and this I didn't like this, and basically people are commenting like, oh, they didn't care, that didn't bug them, that type of thing. It's like okay, so that was a personal issue. It had nothing to do with the game per se, just my feelings on it. But other things like that where I point out a mistake in the rule book where it's wrong or missing, right? It's underdeveloped, that type of thing. And you'll have other people that just gloss over it. And I just don't see that. I don't see how you can cover the game from a solitaire perspective and say, oh yeah, this is one game of the year when the rule book is missing something like that. Now I get it. You say, well, you put that in there and now it's a better game. And it was. It's actually a good game. It's a solid game. It's very abstracted, right? Planes Indian Wars from GMT and John Paniski. It's very abstracted, which is okay. I've played a lot of abstract games and abstracted war games over the years. But it's a beautiful production, beautiful cards, right? Those big cards, the big cards you play, beautiful looking. The opponents are nice enough. I mean, cubes, so a lot of cubes in there, but board, big mono board, all those things. Just not the best solitaire rulebook. And I agree about Hearts and Minds as well, which I've also covered on my channel, that third edition. And it just, I covered it, and you had to do, when it came to the solo and using the bot, right? You had to just kind of do your own thing a lot, which starts right delving into, we'll just play both sides territory, right? Instead of following a bot. If the bot is broken or the bot doesn't give good advice or it's hard to figure out the bot, you just get into like, what does play both sides? So I think when I see games that advertise a solitaire mode, I do expect a solitaire mode. I do expect a good one, right? If it is play both sides, that's fine. Tell me that though. Don't tell me it has a solitaire mode or a solo mode and it doesn't. Absolute War from Carl Paratus and GMT. No problem with the game per se. I think it's a little fiddly, a little mathy for what you get. It's supposed to be. It was two things wrong with Absolute War. First off, is they advertise it, and they said, whoever it is, on GMT's webpage, as it's listed, I think in the rulebook in the box, maybe whatever, is as a beginner's game, good entry level game. It is not. It is not. It's heavier than that, and it has a lot of exceptions, right? A lot of rule exceptions. I think Carl does that a lot of his games, but because of that, I don't think it's a good beginner war game. Maybe if someone is teaching you, but as I play solitaire, right? Which another thing, the second thing with the game, it advertises having a solo mode, a solitaire mode. Man, that solitaire mode is like half a page in the rulebook that basically says, hey, play with this objectives in mind as the Soviets. The end, right? Like basically, I'm distilling it down a little bit, being a little funny, but the rulebook does not have a true solitaire mode, does not have a solo mode at all. So like, why tell me that? We're just going to list off, well, you should have some objectives as the Germans or as the Russians, you should have these objectives to defend. Yeah, no kidding, right? Like, that's not enough to me. So two things with that one as well. So, yeah. I could make a video on this topic for sure. For sure. All right. Mark says, where's everyone from? Ohio here. Didn't you? We do that at the beginning. Actually, we didn't really do that this time, though. Minnesota. Now. Not from. Currently live here. Obviously, Green Bay Packers. Wisconsin Badgers. Yeah. Born in Wisconsin. Currently live in Minnesota. Hey, Stuka Joe, great to see you. Leave the party. You're never late. You arrive just when you're meant to, right? Happy holidays. Well, thank you. Happy holidays to you and everyone else as well. Good to see you guys here. We're a little quieter crowd than we usually have, and that's okay. It's the holidays. You know what? Next year's going to be a blast. We're going to lots of videos, lots of regular videos, recons, playthroughs. I want to step up some of my playthroughs, getting more playthroughs out there, and reviews, of course. Mike says, I'm curious about the publishing of these games. Do they review the rule books, or who does that fall to the person who helps the designer to develop it? Yeah, I think it depends. There's no consistent system across this industry, right, or this hobby of ours. It is a free for all. I mean, you have primarily it comes down to the designer to write the rule book, right? And some publishers, and I know this, some publishers basically designer submits a rule book, that's it, it's done. Maybe formatting, but other than that, that's it. That's what they take. Others, you'll have a writer producer assigned to it. You may have proofreaders. Hopefully, for the love of God, you have proofreaders. Most war game publishers though are not going to have multiple levels of people looking at it, right? It's going to be the designer writes the rules for their game they're designing, send them to the publisher. Publisher either prints them as is, right? Or like again, formatting. Obviously, someplace like GMT, the very standard formatting. They know what they're doing when it comes to that. But even then, as I've just talked about, they have things where they make mistakes too. And I don't expect mistake free, although I would hope that, at some point you would find that if you hand the rulebook to somebody who's never played it, and they look and they go, hey, this isn't listed in this rulebook. I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. And I say, oh, we're missing something. They'll remember to add it in. So I don't know what happened with Plains Indian Wars. But anyway, every publisher is different. I know that for a fact. I would love to see a little more consistency, but what can you do? All right. So what else we have? So I mentioned the presents, right? So anyone who wants to share what you got for Christmas, wargaming related. I got no war games. I mentioned this at the very beginning or towards the beginning. I got the Gloomhaven, Jaws of the Lion. Not wargaming. So I'm the host of the channel. I can show off my stuff that's not wargaming. You guys only share wargaming. Solo game, right? So I like my fantasy games. Playing a lot of Aventuria card game, but I did get Match of the Year. We'll dive into the DG, the decision game. I can't say that. DG, Master of the Air. Whoop! So excited for Master of the Air. America's Bomber Boys who fought the air war against Nazi Germany. Oh man, I can't wait to read this, and I can't wait to watch Master of the Air on Apple TV, January 26th. Not an ad. They did not pay me. I'm very excited for it. Empire of the Sun. Mark going hardcore here. Good luck, Mark. I wish you the best. I got a Christmas present, Pursuit of Glory. Oh, very cool. Awesome. Fantastic. Yeah, there's so many excellent games that are, friendly multiplayer and then solitaire friendly. Either you can play both sides or just solo modes. There's so many good games. But okay. And then we'll cover anything else you guys pop up, any games you got or anything, war games you want to share, feel free to. Otherwise, excuse me, must be the sun-kissed orange soda. Then I drink some more. All right, what do we got here? So let's look at, Decision Games, I said it right, has been running their deluxe survey. Now I missed the first part of the survey, which sucks because it had like everything. I mean, it's like hundreds of games listed you could pick from to then move to this next is like the final step. So we're at the final voting now. So let me pull it up. Whoop. So deluxe edition survey final. It's the final one, everybody. New survey for all out-of-print magazine game titles currently available for a deluxe reprint. So when you talk about deluxe reprint, right, we're talking about something like Midway Solitaire. So Midway Solitaire, remember, and there's others, but Midway Solitaire is a solitaire game. Surprise. That they did a deluxe one. It was originally in a magazine. They did a deluxe with a mounted board, much thicker, nicer counters, player aids, etc. Fantastic game. I really liked it. I have a lot of content on it. Check that out. Really enjoyed that game. Looking forward to anything like that, right? So any production of that level is fantastic in any war game. But then secondly, getting solitaire games, obviously in particular, are some of my things of like, hey, I would love to see some more solo games. Christmas got me Crowbar, the Mog, Final Girl stuff, expansion for Aliens, another Glorious Day in the Court. Jeez, you got a haul over there. Man. I'm going to get you in touch with my wife. Say, listen, you get Wayne enough stuff, enough gaming stuff. I got some other swag. So we do fun. Like I got a bottle of bourbon, a bottle of nice bourbon. Every year I get that. I didn't get any cigars this year, but that's okay. Trying to think what else. Got some other stuff, but like I said, the book was one thing. We were a little modest Christmas anyway. We got our son some stuff, but he's still a little guy. But anyway, Crowbar I own. I've not played or covered, which is a damn shame. Evil Genius, Herman Luttman, right? His solitaire one, Push Your Luck style, like in Magnificent style, which is one of my favorite games of all time. The Mog, I do want to get that one from White Dog Games. Final Girl, heard a lot of good stuff with that from solo people that's never played it. Aliens, another Glorious Day in the Core. What a great movie. I haven't played the game yet. So Joe says, yes, I put in my 10 games we reprinted, including the plot to assassinate Hitler. Very nice. Okay. Right, what's your bourbon? All right, well, let me pull this up quick. Oh. Now, I'm not a crazy connoisseur here. We don't go, so don't get any of you guys. I know I'm in a part of a bourbon group on Wargame or on Facebook, and people get, oh my god, age verification. Yes, I am 21 or older, thankfully. Old Granddad 114. So not regular Old Granddad, right? A little more of a special 114 proof. Haven't cracked her open or anything like that, but I got it up in the shelf with the other bourbons. So I was excited to get that one. In my opinion, and we will not go down this too long here, but my opinion, there's no such thing as a bad bourbon, and I'll fight you on that one. I see these people on these groups are like, this is trash. I dumped it down the drain. Are you kidding me? Just the what makes something right by law, the process to make bourbon, you have to do certain things right to make bourbon and be able to call it bourbon in the United States. By law, all those things means that at minimum you're gonna have a good bourbon. You know, I mean, if something was wrong with the barrel, maybe. But other than that, it's going to be good at a minimum, and then it just gets kind of better from there. So anyway, big fan of that. I mean, I haven't had this one yet, but I'm a big fan of bourbons in general, and definitely, yeah, looking forward to trying that eventually. All right, enough of that, guys. Have not. Elijah Craig, very good. I mean, there's a lot of good ones. Okay. Whoa, hang on. What did Chris here? You got the haul. I think you got the haul of the year here, and then we'll go to this decision game survey. Chris got Ancient Civilizations, Middle East, Dawn of the Zeds, Normandy 44. It's got about Britain, Panzer, Deadly Woods, America, Mighty Endeavor. O'Hara. Hey, well, those Deadly Woods, America Bomber, Mighty Endeavor. Where'd you get those from? Very cool. Nice haul. And Live Your Death. All right, so Deluxe Edition survey here we're looking at. Again, this is the one that unfortunately doesn't have everything. It just has some of the stuff. But I went ahead and so this is the link is in the video description here. So you have to click that. Don't leave yet. But at the end of this, go check it out. I don't know if I have. See if I can enter the link into chat, maybe for you guys. We'll try this. Yeah, don't go anywhere. Stick with us. We're gonna look at some of these. All right, so I don't even know if that link will work, but again, the link is in the description. So go check this out. There's some good solitaire games on here. Much like Midway Solitaire, right? I want to get some of these reprinted editions of some of these. So you look at them here, and these are the ones that made it. So again, I regret that we didn't get to cover the first. The first one was like literally hundreds of them. That would have been fun to go through, but it's for as of here. Hey, we got some good solitaire games. Now, when they did the initial one, they listed which ones are solitaire. Here, I don't think any of them say solo, but Well, okay, looks like maybe one of them does, two of them. Okay. Out of this list, as far as I can tell, because some of the names are a little like, wait, which one is this? Central Pacific Campaign, that's Solitaire. So we'll look at that one. So Central Pacific Campaign is my understanding. I have not played this one. I have never owned this one. It's on my wish list. Is one that I believe is similar to Midway Solitaire. So, but regardless, Central Pacific Campaign, Solitaire strategic level wargame with a struggle for control of Central Pacific during World War II. Solitaire players commanding U.S. forces, system controls the Japanese forces. Not a lot of pictures, unfortunately. I like to, you guys know, when I like to be able to show off some pictures. In fact, barely any. So not gonna really show off much. Oh, we need some. Hey, when you guys do me a favor. When you guys get games and you play them, take some pictures while you're playing. Nice pictures. Upload them to Board Game Geeks. That way, the rest of us can take a look at them. But anyway, definitely interested in this one. Again, I haven't played it. Yeah, this looks a lot. The counters anyway look a lot like from Midway Solitaire. If anyone's played it, let us know. Let us know what you think. So, Daniel, so looking at the survey here, yep, let's talk about that for a second. So what they're going to do is you can vote for your top 5 out of this list. Choose your top 5. They add the top 10 to the pledge area. You then have to pledge. People will have to pledge and kind of get votes up. It's not quite the same as GMT's P500, but excuse me. It's just a way for you to try to get your voice heard, to say, hey, these are games I'm interested in. I know the ones that I put through for the first step made it here to this part. So is that because of me? Obviously, no. I'm sure it's because it just, they were already popular. That people are already looking forward to them. I think there's a lot of interest in solitaire war games. So that's why we're focusing on the solitaire ones here. So the next one after Central Pacific Campaign that I'll look at is, I think I'm wrong on this. So it says Crusades. I thought maybe it was First Crusade, 1097 to 1099, which is a solitaire game that is like a States of Siege style. So you can actually see on the map here. Again, we need more pictures. People need to start putting more pictures. You can kind of see tracks coming in. I think this is States of Siege style. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought this one was. Oh no, this isn't. Oh no, this one isn't. What was I thinking? I was thinking of Constantinople, which is not on the list. There is a Constantinople, Siege of Constantinople, but I don't think that's the same one. I'm a mess. I don't know, guys. I'm a mess. But anyway, interested in this one for sure. Event step, action step. So maybe this one isn't there. This one isn't the States of Siege style. My bad. That was Constantinople. But anyway, First Crusade. I don't think this is the one on the list anyway. I think it's a different Crusades game. I think there's a really old Crusades game that was in Strategy and Tactics back in the day, and I think that's what it is. So you know what? We're not even gonna get rid of that one. Get it off here. It doesn't even count. All right. So let's look at this. So this one. So you guys better vote for this one. I'll never tell you what to vote for, but this one, please put in a vote. Fall of Rome. Okay, you guys know I love my Roman games. I love my Ancients games. I do own this one. I own the Strategy and Tactics 181 version. It's been reprinted a few times over the years. So yeah, this one from 97. This is the one that I own. Fall of Rome, and it looks like crap. I mean, relatively. Sorry, right? Map's no good. Counters are fine. Map looks like crap though. I mean, look at that. I want a deluxe version that looks nice. No, full honesty, I don't know. Decision Games isn't known for their beautiful games, so I'm worried a little bit about that. But I feel like you could take this map, right? You can make it look just gorgeous while still retaining kind of the simplicity of the system. And who doesn't want to defend the Roman Empire against those dirty barbarians? You know what I mean? So, Fall of Rome, strategic solitaire war game. Try to hold off the barbarian invasion of Rome. Let's go vote for that one, please. If you want to, of course. Only if you want to. All right. Next one. And again, we're looking at the solitaire ones that are part of this deluxe edition that you can vote for. Iwo Jima, Valor of Arms. Now, solitaire wargame simulation of the U.S. assault on the Pacific Island. Now, I'm trying to remember if this is the one that uses fire and movement. Maybe not. Maybe, and I think this may be. Remember, or this is one that was reprinted just for one version. No, okay, maybe not. I thought maybe it was the reprinted one. But anyway, always looking for obviously Pacific battles, right? Solitaire. Japanese units are set up with their facing covered. Marines invade from 2 alternate beaches. Rules all Japanese to fire at Marines once the latter moves within 2 hexes. I don't know. Hey, I'm interested. Designers, Gary Gillette, David Rode. Definitely, if this is the one they're talking about, then I'm interested in this one. So check that one out as well. All right, and then the last one we're going to look at here is Pacific Subs. So Pacific Subs or Pacific Submarine, but Pacific Subs is named it. I know it has a poor rating, and I know that there were some problems with the rulebook. Steve Carey, someone who I respect a lot, designed some excellent games, and I talked to him outside of gaming a little bit. Talked to him a lot. He liked it, except for the problems with it. I would love to see the deluxe version of this redone. Right, take command of a World War II submarine, sink enemy ships. You can see it already has look how many people. Look how many pictures this one has. Right, some of these games, even newer ones, have a lot of pictures. Look how many pictures this one has. Now I know looks like there's different versions maybe, and there's not as many pictures as I thought. Oh, because there's a Japanese edition map. Okay, so there's a little more info because of the Japanese edition. But anyway, you can kind of look at this. Kind of cool. Look at this. It's tactical, firing solutions, plot. You don't usually see that level of in-depth right in these games. So you may think, well, I'll just get Silent Victory from Greg Smith and GMT. It's well, this looks like a little different angle for it maybe. And I don't know. It just looks like it could be a lot of fun. Hopefully the deluxe edition, and I know it would fix a lot of things. I know the deluxe edition of Midway Solitaire fixed a lot of things from the magazine version that people were complaining about. It wasn't flawless, but it fixed a lot of stuff. So Pacific Subs, check that one out as well. All right. So I don't know how many times you can vote or not, but looking at it, right? So because I already put, on my account, I already voted. I can't vote again. Central Pacific, Fall of Rome, Iwo Jima, Pacific Subs, and then I think that's it for the solitaire here. Or was there another one that listed? I have no idea what it is. Flight of the Goban solo. I don't know what that one is. Old one. 3, 4. We'll throw that in there. I think that's it for. And then you can add. So please use the comments box to identify specific items you want to see. Optional units, variants, fixes, maps, rules are included. Please create a beautiful map that people will remember. What do you think of that feedback? Interested in proofing or playtesting? No, not doing that. Sorry. All right. Submit it. Your response has been recorded. There you go. I voted live. Voted for it. Oh, man, that's funny. All right. Enough of that. So check it out. Link is in the comments. Or, I think I posted the link, but link is in the video description. So check that out after. Or if you have another monitor, put it over another monitor and go check them out. Or what you want. Vote for whatever games you want. I don't care. Just as long as you put Fall of Rome on there. All right. Let's go back through some of these comments. We got another 20 minutes. Easy. Have you played Crowbar and the Rangers of Pointe du Hoc? I have not. So we talked about that a little bit. I have own it. It's up there. I think it's up there still. But which is a damn shame, because it uses a very similar system, right, to In Magnificent Style, the American Civil War game that I absolutely love from the evil genius Herman Lemon. Love that system. It's one of I recommend it right in my top 3 solitaire games for new wargamers, A Magnificent Style. I recommend that game. Just because the system includes kind of some non-wargame stuff, push your luck, but then it's very wargame themey. I love the theme, love the history. Obviously, it's just American Civil War. It's a fascinating part of our history. Love the game in general, just the game design. It flows, it's smooth, it's easy to learn, easy to play, very quick playing, but you still impactful, right? When you're done, you feel like you had a great experience. So I always recommend that. So it's funny that the game that's like based on that system, I haven't even played, and I own it, and I haven't played it. I don't know. It's just the way it works sometimes. One day I'll get it played. There is a solitaire like Rangers Point Du Hoc game that Decision Games published in it's either Strategy and Tactics or World at War. They sent it to me. I looked at it. I think I just did a recon unboxing or unbagging. I don't even think I did any playthrough videos or review. Oops. It was okay. It just wasn't quite for me. Chris, I own and love Midway Solitaire. It's basically a state siege game the way it plays. Yeah. A lot of ways. That's why I play solitaire, my friend. I just put my top 5. About half of my 10 didn't make the cut. Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say I know that the ones I put in mostly made it. I think because I think it was most of those solitaire ones. So like, I think I put in like 5, right? Or what was I put in 10? And I don't know. I can't remember, but I know that I definitely got some good ones in there, including Fallen Rome. Fall of Rome is the first ever solitaire war game. Is that true? I mean, and I have no idea. Obviously, well before my time. The original date of publication for Fall of Rome was 10 years before I was born. So doesn't mean I don't want to play it now. In fact, I mean, they've been reprinting it over the years, right? So definitely looking for a new version. That'd be cool, right? To have that game with the deluxe mountain map, thicker counters, new artwork. Take the rules, keep them the same, refine them. I mean, improve them, right? But then just have kind of the same core game. Absolutely, I think it'd sell gangbusters too. Peloponnesian games I dig. The Greek me. FY Greek is a gutter where the Romans gave us. Well, the Romans, I mean, they're the ones that kicked ass, right? So they can give names whoever they want to. So Chris, I find myself drawn to World War II games, and like I hear you, there's themes that I love. There's themes that I'm like, I'm interested, I'll try it, and then there's ones I have no interest in. And this is where I should do a video, either a regular video or do a live stream where we can cover maybe themes, but maybe talk about a little bit more. But themes that is super popular, right? So maybe popular, but I have no interest in, right? For me number one's got to be Napoleonics. I have no interest in it. I didn't watch the new Napoleon movie. I don't care. I know there's controversy with it. I don't care. The most I know about Napoleon is that they named ice cream after him, and that he helped save San Dimas in the Bill and Ted movies. So that's about it for Napoleon. I don't have a general idea of his career and such, and importance in history and in French history and European history. But it's just something that doesn't draw me in, which is interesting because you think like, well, is it because it's European and you're American? Well, I mean, I love Roman anything basically. Roman Republic, Roman Empire, early, mid, late, Republic early, Republic late. I could go on, right? I'm not as big on like Byzantines as getting into, that whole discussion, but definitely Rome from, 250, 300 BC to 500 AD, right? Just pure Rome stuff. Love it. Absolutely love it. And I have no connection to Italy or anything like that, but something about the Roman Empire is fascinating for a lot of people, I think, and Roman Republic, right? So in general. And yet, when it comes to like Napoleonics, I don't care. I have no interest. But let's say that I won't one day, right? When it came to, for instance, a most recent example for me was the English Civil War, right? It wasn't any, and it's not dislike, right? It's just like, I don't really have a passion for it. I don't really have an interest in it, so I'm not gonna spend time learning a lot about it, and so then I'm not gonna play games about it. But with the English Civil War, I was sent Cruel Necessity by Worthington. I was like, you know what? Let me spend some time on it. So that's why I said I read something, and I started getting into it a little bit. And I'm not an expert, and I never will be an expert in any of this stuff, but I definitely have an interest, more of an interest in it. And in fact, I had see something online, Facebook or something, about the English Civil War and some sort of book or something coming out, and I was actually like, interesting. Versus before, right? I was sort of been like, I don't even care about that at all. So definitely, I'm always willing to change and learn things. There will be a time, I'm sure, I'll be into Napoleonics, or I'll at least have an interest in it, and I'll want to learn. And then once I do, right, and I start learning, usually that's when it's like, okay, I want to play the game, right? Usually, a lot of things are, hey, I don't have a strong interest, but then I read something that catches my eye, and then suddenly I'm like, wait a second, that's interesting. I didn't know that. Oh, they did that, huh? And next thing you know, I'm kind of looking and I'm reading more, and I'm start Googling and on Facebook, and I see something on Board Game Geek, right? And I see something that says, wait, and I'm like, I want that game. And then that's all she wrote when it comes to wargaming, right? So I haven't played Napoleonic games, not drawn to theme. Yeah, and I'm a big theme gamer. I'm big. If you want me, and especially I think because of the channel, right? Because of the channel, I have to have at least a passing interest in it. Probably more than that, to really invest my time and effort into getting a game, learning it, playing it enough, then I can show it off on the channel, right? And I've talked about this before. I've had games where that came in. I filmed a recon, one of my unboxings or unbaggings. I started playing it, and I was like, and it's not even that it was a bad game, right? So it wasn't like, oh, I should do a review and talk about how I hated it. It's overall like I just had no interest in it, and because of that, I put it on the shelf. And usually, I tell myself, right, like I'll get back to it later. I never have. Most of these I never have. So I have a bunch of videos uploaded to my channel that I haven't published, and I never will. In fact, one I was looking at a bunch of them the other day, just trying to see. I was like, I wonder how many I have. And I don't have a ton, but I have like half a dozen maybe. But one of them was like 2.5 years old, and I was looking at it, and it was my old setup, old everything, like old graphic design, old graphic stuff, right? And nothing how I do it now. And it was just funny looking at it, and I was like, damn, this thing's. I wouldn't want to publish it now anyway. It's like I'd have to redo the old video now. So it's just a theme. It's not a, hey, this is bad or this isn't interesting. It's just maybe not interesting to me at the moment, right? And because of that, I'm not going to investigate. I have to have that passion for something. It's the same thing with my work, right? If I have a passion for a certain type of work, I'm going to be invested. I'm going to do well, and I'm going to want to dive into it. If not, I'm going to struggle, and someone's going to be like, you don't look like you're having a good time here. A lot of good comments from people talking about Napoleonics. Well, no, Groucho here. I am French, but I'm not that much interested in Napoleonic games. The only one I own is Field Commander Napoleon. So I'd own that. I never played it. One of those ones I picked up back when I was more in my collecting mode. But I loved Field Commander. Alexander. They're not super in depth, but I enjoyed it. I shouldn't say loved. I really had fun playing Field Commander Alexander, as well as Rommel. I would love to see. I think there's a Field Commander Lee coming from Vince Cooper. I would love to see that sooner rather than later. Chris says, Cruel Necessity was my first States of Siege game. It opened my eyes to the brilliance of States of Siege and how much I enjoyed the system. And the system is amazing. I mean, and you can go different ways with it. There's more, card-based games, card-driven games. Look at what am I thinking of? Over at Hollandspiel, right? Having a brain hit the brakes right there. Stilicho, right? Last of the Romans is the newer one, but then there's Marcus Aurelius, right? Those two card-based from Robert Deluxe. But then there's, classic, a little bit older ones, a little more simpler ones. But then there's more modern ones also from people like Arben Madison that are just fantastic. Arben Madison, the maestro of solitaire war games, as I call him. But what a great system. And so flexible, too, States of Siege system. Brian says, I'm the opposite. I love Napoleonics. Don't care for ancient warfare subjects, Rome, etc. Guys in skirts, hack and slash, no artillery, yawn. Maybe it's related to my love of, well, they have artillery, right? Just not, gunpowder artillery. The Scorpion, catapults. I love of Dungeons and Dragons, right? That's when it's kind of my first, I think I was 8 or 9 when I was like, whoa, D&D. I discovered Dungeons and Dragons. And I think at that point it would have been 2nd edition D&D. Got into that and we started playing that. And maybe that's kind of related to that, right? Because that style, right, of sword and shield and just man to man, or, well, D&D man to monster usually, but Hugo Joe says, last night I was punching all my unpunched Arben Madison games. All of them. I want to do more videos on them. Loved and Napoleon. Haven't played it. See, haven't played that one. But yeah, a lot of great ones from Arben Madison. Obviously, the most recent one I covered, Global War, World War II, Worldwide. Awesome subtitle. But what a fantastic game. Definitely very procedural in the first few turns because they are that kind of scripted. But it does open up the game. It does teach you the game too, those first few turns, because it's so procedural with how the set chits. But once you get past that, game really opens up. Or you play the turning point scenario, which I covered on my channel. So I did multiple videos on that one. And you can see the game kind of as it's wide open. Really fun. A lot of interconnected parts, right? I think I said States of Siege. Global War is not States of Siege. It's different style of system. But it's different States of Siege from him. Jeff Davis is probably my favorite, maybe my favorite States of Siege game, or close to it. Jeff Davis, Confederacy of War from White Dog Games. Yeah, love that one. Absolutely love that one. I even got, I got the, what are you thinking of? So instead of the regular map, I got the puzzle map, thick puzzle map. It's only 2 pieces, but it's the thick, how the counters are, right? It's almost feel like they're mounted, or they're wood. It's a compressed paper, but the map is 2 pieces and you just slide it together, and it's the map like that on that hard. It's really cool. Really cool. So that was from, I think they made a few of them and then they stopped doing those. Because they do Blue Panther is their printer. So. It says, you should try a game from Eagles of France, series of Hexasim, a French publisher. Great games about Napoleonic era. I got to find interest, Daniel. As I said, I'll never say no. I'm sure there'll be a time I'll discover it. I'll get into it and I'll see something. Maybe I'll watch the movie. I don't know. Something will happen and I'll go, all right. I'll read a book and it'll click, right? And that little flame will go, boop, flames up. Time to investigate this more. But, 2023 was a good year for wargaming. It's a crazy year for me personally and my family, and we're all healthy. That's what matters. So number one, we're healthy, and that's what matters. My son, Vern, doing great. Wife's doing great. I'm doing good. Yeah, a lot of things I want to get settled down going into this next year. Career-wise right now, because job stuff's up in flux, been crazy, and I'm not happy about that. I want things to get settled down. But when it comes to the hobby, comes to wargaming, things are looking good. A lot of good publishers, a lot of good games being released. GMT's putting more and more effort into solitaire games. I'm going to start covering more of GMT's solitaire games. I continue to cover games from White Dog Games, Hollandspiel. Although Hollandspiel hasn't been doing a lot of traditional war games lately. I know that Amabel Holland and Mary Holland, they've kind of been going off and doing other stuff, which is good for them, follow their passion. So not as many traditional war games, haven't covered as much of them, but they got a couple I'm looking at coming up. But I've got, DVG's got games, they're been put out. I'm sure Decision Games will have some solo games. So there's a lot of good games coming, a lot of good games that I have right now, like I said, that I'm covering. Finished up my series on the Alamo Final Assault, simple card style game from DVG. You'll see my review go up tomorrow at noon. Heroic Stand series. I think that they made a little bit of a mistake kind of calling it the Heroic Stand series and then making people think it was similar to the Valiant Defense series. It's not, nothing alike, not in gameplay, not in complexity, not in style, nothing. So it's a little bit of a disservice, I think, to the game and the series. It was a shame because Amos Burke and DVG did create a really fun style card game. It's just, I think it just, people had the wrong impression of it, and I think that's hurting it in the reviews. And I'll talk about it more in my review tomorrow. You guys make sure you tune in. Then I've got Thermopylae. You can't really see it over my right shoulder there, which is whoop, whoop, from the same series, and then also the Rourke's Drift. Again, Rourke's Drift is as a topic, right? I just have no strong interest in, so I'm probably not going to cover it on the channel, but I will cover Thermopylae, the Hot Gate, and then what else we got? While my table right now is Pirates from David Kershaw and White Dog Games. So war game related, right? War game adjacent, close enough for this channel anyway. I don't do non-war games, but I'll do something like that. So Pirates is a new one from David Kershaw, 1 to 5 players, but playing the solitaire mode right now. I know Tim over at Bare Bones Wargaming already posted a thing. I got my copy and I set it up and I filmed the unboxing, and then I was looking through the rule book and I said, hey, I don't have those cards. I didn't get any cards. Oh no. I contacted Blue Panther, the printer, sent him an email. Literally the next day, the cards are in the mail. I got the cards now. I've been playing. I played yesterday some. Hope to play a little bit this afternoon. But that'll be my next game. So we'll finish up the review of the Alamo going tomorrow. And then next week should be content on Pirates over here. Set up over here. After that, let me see. Let me pull up my channel. I have, let's see, Catastrophe Games. They sent me Rule the Waves Britannia, which is more of a simple, again, another simple card game style. You guys will see that. I'll probably try to squeeze those in after the Pirates series of videos on Pirates goes up. Check those out. And then eventually, so I want to get Plum Island Horror, right, from GMT and Herman Lutman. Once that comes, I plan to cover that one on the channel, but I don't have that yet. P500 it's been shipping to people. I haven't even had a shipping notice. I have no idea when I'm going to get my copy of it. Hopefully I get it covered, though, before January 26th, when I begin my series on Masters of the Air, right, with Target for Today. Whoop. So doing some Target for Today videos. So, and in between, I got some other videos that may pop out here or there. Depends on what I get sent or what I purchase or what catches my eye. Steve, great to see you here, even for just a couple minutes. I'm just wrapping up, giving people the final update on kind of the channel here and what we'll be doing going into the next year. Great to see you. Hope you had a great Christmas, great holiday. Definitely. Well, I was talking about Steve Carey, talking about him earlier. We're talking about the games and then interesting games and all those things. But check Sujo, Decision should make deluxe versions of our Master games have their own games. Yeah, no kidding. That would be awesome. Add some of those in. I will say that I would love to see more high quality solitaire games. And I have the utmost respect for White Dog Games, for Hollandspiel, anyone who uses Blue Panther, right? But there's definitely differences in the Blue Panther printing versus some of these other types of printing. And I'm not going to say that you shouldn't have Blue Panther as a printer, because I think that works great for a lot of these companies. But I would definitely love to see maybe some of these more traditional, right, mounted maps, things that Blue Panther can't do. Love to see maybe some of those things for some games. Not every game needs that. The Alamo Final Assault as an example of one that doesn't really need the mounted map and all the extra stuff, which, again, you'll see at noon tomorrow when the review goes live. So, all right. Well, everybody, lots of stuff coming to the channel. Lots of stuff coming in wargaming. Great publishers out there. Tremendous games, tremendous war games, and a lot of good solitaire war games. So let's start checking those out for sure. And before we go, yes. Oh, Steve, Arben Madison has a new game coming very soon, Gift of the Nile in Egypt. I got an early look, and it's very cool. Ooh, nice. Definitely interested in that. I've covered a lot of his games for good reason. He makes a lot of good solitaire war games. It's just fact. I cracked up my copy of Multiple Siege this week. Love it. It's tough and pretty to look at. I got it right over here. Worthington sent it to me. I haven't covered it yet. There's so many games. There's not enough time to cover them all. But anyway, everybody, it's past an hour. We made it. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. What a great chat today. Many more videos in the future. Live chats. Let me know of any topics. Email me, message me on Board Game Geek. Comment below wherever you want. I always see people's comments. I don't always reply, but I always see your guys' comments on my videos, and I really appreciate it. So thanks for being fans. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, I think that's it, though. I think we can call it here. So until next time, everybody. Later.